Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Weeb Weekly. I am Nixie Comedy, and I am joined by the soon-to-be LA-bound Tropical Joe. How are we doing, my guy?
I'm doing very good. It's my first time ever going to the City of Angels, so let's see how that goes. But Mizu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Awesome. And you know, it was fantastic this week in Weebdom. I mean, we had a lot going on, and if we're being real, for the next couple of weeks, that's all we're going to have is a lot going on, because next week we have Fast 9 and the week after that we have Black Widow. But this week, I'd say the biggest and most important thing that went on is Netflix said, you know what? This Tropical Joe guy's been making a lot of mythology content recently, and that looks like it's doing well. Maybe we should cop that. And so, you know what they did? They adapted one of everyone's favorite mangas out there, at least from what I've seen. People are talking very highly about the manga, Record of Ragnarok, into a little 12-episode first season. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious that Aphrodite's boobs were so large. She had this literally, she was the first ever push-up bra. She literally made 2 stone golems to hold her boobs up. And I was like, you know what? Go off, girl boss. But I'm starting to realize, I've been doing a little scrolling on TikTok, as one does. I might be in the minority of people who actually enjoyed that show. What do you guys think about it?
I honestly, it's a mixed bag, right?
Mhm.
Because I saw your video. I saw the people talking about it. I like that it's a fresh and different take on the typical depictions that we have of these of these characters. Because, for example, I found it really, really cool that, for example, Poseidon is supposed to be older than Zeus, and yet he looks younger.
Yeah. So also just hot as fuck.
Oh yeah. It was like there was a many a waifu in this show. So the actual the plot is there's very basic plot, right?
It's a battle tournament shonen. That's
exactly
not known for its
not
writing.
super heavy. But however, I do disagree that it was like meaningless, because, for example, honestly, the character that I resonated the most with Sasaki, especially in that final battle that we saw, the third of the
World's
3 battles.
Greatest loser.
I actually found his story super interesting.
Yeah.
Super interesting, super convincing. It had a Deku-esque style to it. I love that character. That was my favorite part of the show. So I thought the others were going to be better. I'm a big Thor guy. I like the twist that they had with like Mjolnir being like a living, breathing entity. It was cool.
Just huge.
Yeah, like it was a fun take on something that has been routinely overdrawn. Same type of arrogant undertones for the gods. And I found that like the challenge that these humans posed brought a different side to it that I found appealing. Animation, I will defer to you guys because you've seen a lot more than I have. I found it a little bit basic, but enjoyable. So Mizu, what do you think?
Now, I will be honest. I only seen 2 episodes of it.
Okay.
Because I got other stuff I was doing and getting involved into, so I'll definitely finish the rest of it. But for what I've seen, I mean, again, I'm indifferent a little bit about it. Here's the thing, I'm not too upset with the animation per se. It's because there are some anime, there's another like actually popular anime that did this, where it's like my husband used to be a Yakuza, and they did a similar animation where it was kind of comic book slide by slide.
Slideshow is what it's been being called on the TikToks.
I don't agree with the term slideshow. It does give me a comic book feel of, they go from fight to fight in certain ways, or certain motions are still 2D-ish to a point. But I didn't mind that because, again, I've seen stuff like that before. And honestly, the people who, in my personal opinion, the people who complained about it probably haven't seen enough of those types of anime, because those anime exist.
Yeah, it's like you've seen Black Clover, Jujutsu Kaisen, and One Piece. It's like you're not like, your breath isn't there. Like Katsunagari, Katana Nagari is anime that came out a long time ago and had a very comic booky kind of like very different animation style, and it's one of the most gorgeous animes ever drawn, in my opinion. And I'm not going to compare those two; they're drastically different, but there is different animation styles. In short, like I guess the people's big thing was this is it's a battle tournament anime, so it's supposed to be well animated. If you look at the other ones that Netflix has put out, like Kengan Ashura, like Baki, those are beautifully animated. They really are. And I'm not saying this is as good as them, because I'd say the characters are more fun, but the fights are worse. I said it in my video. But at the same time, it's still fun. It's fun. Okay. It's
just enjoy it.
It's gods fighting the world's most important people. The Lubu versus Thor fight was fun. And I wrote a note. I said, this whole battle could be half an episode without the various cutscenes, but it's kind of cool because I didn't know who Lubu was. You know, I didn't know that he was this flying general from like 70 AD China who wanted to be the strongest person alive. Like I caught myself Googling a lot of these people. I caught myself Googling like what are Poseidon's feet. I had to look up if Adamus is a real person, and I was going to ask you, like, is Adamus a real person? Like did you guys find your, like, at least Jose, like, did you find yourself being like, oh, I'm learning?
Yes, I did find myself learning for a few of them. I did not like mostly the human protagonist, because I am after playing parts of Ghost of Tsushima, I've been super obsessed with like Eastern Asian culture. Well, even before that, but I meant in terms of historical figures. I absolutely love it. So like learning about Lubu, learning about Sasaki or the other people that are going to be in, because I saw the representatives for each one.
Nicola Tesla is on the list.
I know.
What is he going to do?
Dude, it's very interesting, the lineup that they have for both sides. So like for the gods and for the humans. And so I liked it. I learned a lot. I from what I've checked, Adamus is not a real Olympian.
Okay.
Maybe
they were right. Maybe he was just wiped from the lore.
The thing is, like, Greek mythology is obviously like all other mythologies, and other like previous massive religions. They've been on for
once a religion gets old enough, it just becomes mythology,
exactly.
Right? Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing that, I mean, we can cover that like whole discussion too. But basically, it goes by word of mouth, right? At a certain point, it's not all written.
Like the speakers.
It's written sometimes in like poetry. It's written sometimes in story format, but mostly it's word of mouth, right? So it could have been that at some point Adamus was like a big character that just got lost in the void of like all the myths and all the stories. I do know, for example, which I'm actually going to talk to my people about on TikTok, that for example, a lot of people have been like, it's just on my case, been like repping a lot of hate for the Kratos videos. Kratos is an actual mythological character. It's just not the version that you see in the games. So it's really important to make that distinction and learn, because like this honestly to me seemed like a battle shonen that had a lot of interesting learning experiences for the viewer. Yeah. So I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. It was like a 7 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I would say that's a fair assessment. And also, like, another thing that you learn is that the father of all man can square up. Like,
big facts.
Box. See, like, I guess the fight that people were most upset about was Adam versus Zeus, which is wild.
No spoilers for Mr. Misu, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. I was gonna ask with the lineup, where specifically on the god side, were all of them war-related gods?
No.
Or were they like all
do you want me to read them to you?
Variations?
Do you have the list?
I do have the list.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. Go off.
Hey, I always keep that thing on me, bro.
I know Anubis was on there.
I think they're in order, right? I think they're in order from what I've seen from like the lineups. So it's Thor, god of thunder, Norse mythology. Zeus, king of the gods, Greek mythology. Poseidon, god of the sea, Greek mythology. Heracles, which is the actual name for Hercules. Hermes.
And he looks sick.
Yes. Hermes, Greek mythology.
So he's not war.
Aphrodite's gonna be joining that battle.
That's
I don't
gonna
know.
be. They
That's gonna
better
be a
well
fun
animate that
episode.
because the jiggle is going to be very important.
Bounce mechanics is all I have to say. Bounce
exactly.
Mechanics. Ares, god of war, Greek mythology. Shiva, the god of destruction from Hindu religion.
He looks sick.
Bishamonten, the one of the 4 heavenly kings of Buddhism. Susanoo no Mikoto, the god of sea and storms in Japanese mythology. Damn, did you see how I bodied that name, bro?
Wow. No one's going to be upset with us.
Yeah.
It's actually Susanoo.
Yeah. True. Hey, true. Odin, king of the gods, Norse mythology. Loki, god of deceit, which we will talk about later for the amazing Marvel episode. Heimdall is actually joining the fight. The actual announcer will be joining the.
Who's going to announce the fight?
I got no idea.
Interesting.
The 2 ravens. So Hugin and Munin.
Odin's just sending his birds.
Yeah, they BOP. They BOP.
Okay, that's fair.
And then the final 3 is a mix. Anubis, the god of death from Egyptian mythology.
Okay, cool.
We got Apollo,
who
the god of the sun.
who has simps, according
Bro,
to you.
My comment section is wild.
This is news to me. I mean, I guess it's 2021. Do you? I guess I don't know.
If I read some of these comments, you guys will be dumbfounded. It's a
TOS. Well, we're on Spotify. We're good.
But we're all good, bro.
Yeah.
Anubis, god of death. Apollo, Greek god of the sun, which is awesome. And then surprise appearance, Beelzebub. So have you heard? If you guys have heard of the amazing song, Bohemian Rhapsody, there is he has another. Obviously, there's different pronunciations, but Beelzebub is a very popular Philistine demon from Judeo-Christian religion. So that's the final battle, and I'm like, okay, bet.
Actually, well, so like I know within the confines of like Satanism, Beelzebub is like Satan himself. At least in what is it? The main guy. I'm forgetting the main guy in Satanism, but yeah, that is incredible. No, and also the human lineup is just as wild. You know, like I guess the teaser that we're leaving it off on is that Jack the Ripper somehow got selected. We're like, hey, yeah, let's have the guy that murdered people. Like, I mean, I guess like if you want like someone who's going to get the job done, a serial killer's gonna murder someone. But I am very, very excited for that. But I'd say, so without even thinking about the list that we were given, if you had to, I know there's 13 heroes. If you guys had to pick 3 people to fight for humanity, 3 people to fight for humanity, who would you choose?
Do they get powers is the question.
In the same sense that essentially they get like a weapon. Of Ragnarok? Yeah, they get a weapon that allows them to equal the playing field.
Okay. I have 2 of them, definitely.
Okay.
Don't know if I have the 3rd yet.
Okay.
I already got my 3.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, go, Mizu.
Perfect. Go.
Okay, so the first one, I don't know. I just want to make sure. Alexander the Great, is he in it?
No, he's not in there.
See, that's weird.
But that's a great fucking
Alexander
pick.
the Great, he would be one, because it's Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
Man has conquered most of the world and things like that.
Great general.
Then I would also say Genghis Khan.
Ooh.
That's what I thought Lubu was going to be. He came in on a horse, and I was like, oh, it's Genghis Khan. No, it was Lubu.
Nope. So of course, another great conqueror.
Yep.
Whose influences all across the world.
Literally,
and then lastly, someone that probably people might not know, Sundiata.
I don't. History
is he is basically another conqueror in the way. He's the founder of an African kingdom called the African Kingdom of the Mali Empire.
Oh,
his story is actually kind of the basis for the Lion King, because he's known as the Lion King.
Oh, that's sick. Okay, yours are
okay. I have my 3.
Immense strength to the point where he, in his legend, that he was able to bend this big, huge, like 12 foot, 15 foot iron bar made from blacksmith, and he was able to bend it into a bow.
Oh,
I got my 3.
That's terrifying. Okay,
I like your picks. I like your picks, bro. Your picks are fire, bro.
Yeah.
But I have my 3. So first one, Attila the Hun. Attila the Hun, like his name was synonymous with death, which is wild. I was gonna pick Leonidas, but Leonidas is in the lineup. So outside of the lineups, I would go Leon.
Wait, Leonidas is in the lineup?
Yeah, I'll show.
That's sick.
We'll talk about the human lineup later.
Okay.
But in terms of Attila the Hun.
Okay.
Vlad the Impaler.
God,
aka Dracula.
Damn it! I was gonna take him.
I was thinking about that.
We should have done this. We should have done a
Dracula.
draft. We should have done a goddamn draft.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yes, sir. So I would have taken those 2, and then finally, surprise pick that some of you might not. Well, some. Sure, whatever. So the Vlad the Impaler. Who did I say after that?
Attila the Hun.
Attila the Hun and Sun Tzu.
The art of war.
The man who wrote down in facts that the high ground is actually a thing.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I would give him superpowers. I would give him superpowers. So those are my big 3.
That's dope.
I have the Mountain from Game of Thrones. Just literal
he's
size.
Your Hercules.
Like
he's your Hercules.
Yeah, literally, he's my Hercules. Oda Nobunaga.
Oh, that's good.
And I was gonna do Vlad the Impaler. But now I don't have a third.
I would have picked Hannibal if I wasn't gonna pick anybody else.
Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Oh,
Spartacus
true.
Is a real person, right?
Spartacus,
Yeah.
The Roman.
Listen, all you listeners, comment below in the YouTube comments which of those 3 is going to save humanity. Okay,
dude,
I like mine. All right, because he can squish heads.
Honestly, I'm like I'm more surprised at the human lineup, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Because it's filled with serial killers.
No, it's also filled with gods/humans.
Like people have been deified.
I was just going to ask that question. Do they count demigods in a way for the human race?
So we got Lubu, right? Mm-hmm. Which you saw, I think, in the first 2 episodes. We got Adam, as in the Adam, first human.
Human file number 1. I loved when they did that. They're like, it's human file number 1. I was like, okay.
We got Kojiro Sasaki, which question, is he the best swordsman in anime? No,
you're gonna. That's a minefield you don't want to walk into, homie.
I know. Jack the Ripper, the famous murderer from London. Raiden Tamimon, who is a Japanese sumo wrestler.
I was like the lightning god.
No.
I was like,
he was a very prolific sumo wrestler from the 19th century. We got the Buddha. The Buddha is
technically human.
That does make sense
because he was enlightened, right? He was an enlightened.
Buddha was a human, yes.
Yeah.
So we got the Buddha fighting for us. We got Qin Shi Huang, which is the founder of the Qin dynasty. So the first emperor to unify China is going to fight for us.
Oh, okay.
The Oda Nobunaga of China, yeah.
We got one of the Finnish snipers in the Winter War from the 20th century, which was a surprise pick, Simo Haiwa.
He's the guy who literally held off the Nazi march into Sweden.
Oh, that's the guy that had all the movies that he was the Angel of Death or whatever. Okay, perfect. Mm-hmm. So Nicola Tesla, the Serbian thunder god, if you would.
Whose idea was that? It was like he made direct current. Like he clearly can kill a god.
Wild. We got Soji Okita, a special police force from 19th century Japan. Who was a swordsman as well. We got Michel de Nostradame, which is a French astrologer. See that fucking pronunciation? I'm killing it today.
Wow. My man could do everything from French to Japanese. And where is he from? Puerto Rico.
Yes, sir. It's that island vibe, you know? Japan, Puerto Rico, island vibes.
Mm-hmm.
It's island vibes.
France also. I guess it depends how far you look out.
Depends how far. Yeah. Sakata Kintoki. It's a folk hero. So he's not actually a human that was alive. Then we got Rasputin. Like Grigory
Rasputin gonna use his 1 foot.
Mans was the endurance king. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, he literally walked from Siberia to Moscow several times.
He got poisoned, stabbed, everything. And he didn't die. It's wild. And then our final battle representative is going to be Leonidas the first.
Leonidas. Oh yeah, Spartan. Yeah.
That's why he wasn't going to be in my list, but yeah.
See, if you're going to use folklores, why not use like who's the first ever first ever epic hero?
Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. Yeah.
Gilgamesh.
Use Gilgamesh. Like, I mean, come on, take the Fate series and you use him as an example. Like,
better yet, if we're using like demigods or people who are humans who turned into gods, pretty much like good portion of the Orisha pantheon, like Shango is basically Thor, but he was a human turned into a god. And instead of a hammer, it's a double-sided axe, and he's the god of both lightning, fire, justice, and music.
He's wild. Chango,
that guy must be so cool at parties.
Chango is no joke, bro.
He's no joke. Sick. So,
and his sister is also the goddess of death, lightning.
It's wild.
A lot of things like tornadoes, wind. Also, a person who was a human and became a god.
That is ridiculous. At least for me, like in that same vein, I just want to get your opinions, because like if we're covering that line between like actual deities, I have to word this very carefully, characters from religion.
There we go.
Say that.
You nailed it.
Why not like if we brought Adam, why not bring Samson?
Just don't cut his hair.
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Because Samson is technically has unlimited strength, which you could have definitely paired against Zeus, and maybe he
until he falls into the wicked temptation of women.
Yes. So wait till he sees Aphrodite.
Yeah. Oh, listen, I'd let her cut my hair. That's all I'm gonna say. In a heartbeat. That would be cool. Samson. Oh, damn, that would have been a good choice. But then again, I was I guess we were more talking like concrete history, you know, like
Wukong, baby. I would have put Wukong in that.
Oh, he was in the crowd. There's a shot screening all the gods.
For real, I'm not gonna lie. If you pay attention in the background, there's a lot of gods you didn't really notice. Like I don't know if you guys noticed it, but there's a part where you see Cthulhu.
I saw that.
I saw Cthulhu. Yeah,
I saw Cthulhu. I saw Cthulhu.
That's the thing. So it was funny to me. It was like certain people from like history, like as long as you were around the person fighting, got ported to the fight. And I was like, and then it cut to Jack the Ripper, and it was just a bunch of people from 19th century London. Yeah. And I was like, how did they choose? I don't know. One thing that I think is going to be a trend in this show: Chinese guy loses, Anglo-Saxon guy loses, Japanese guy wins. Right? Is there seven Japanese? Is there 7 Japanese people on this human list? If so. Those are going to be our winners.
Yeah, which is so weird. It's because on the human side it's predominantly Japanese, but on the god side it sounds like it's predominantly
almost Greek. Entirely Greek. Yeah.
So we got three, 4. I think it's three Japanese in the human side, and then 1 or 2 Japanese in the god side.
I was like, if they have the Japanese like god fight the Japanese human, now we have a problem. But like,
yeah,
I'm making a prediction right now. Those 3 Japanese humans are gonna win. I'm telling you. Like Lubu was this thing is like, I love that they opened with like the strongest god versus the strongest human. Like that fight was cool. Like that was a cool fight, and it ended when his legs snapped. My body legitimately like recoiled on.
I feel bad for Mizu.
Why?
This is how I feel with my hero. I guess.
I guess.
But it's okay. Yeah, fair.
No,
so far we only have 3 battles, so that we can summarize the 3 that we've seen, right? Nick, and then like ask Mizu to give us his first impressions. I think that'd be the best way to cut through this.
Well, so obviously we had Lubu versus Thor, which was a contest. It was essentially like, I hit you, you take it. I hit, like, you hit me, I take it. It was like a Pokemon battle. Yeah. It was like, I'm going to give you my strongest. You survived it. My turn. It was like old timey, like musket fights.
Yeah.
And so that was really interesting. And I mean, you're part of the way through it. I think that's what's more interesting is actually when in that fight we look into Thor's history. How much of that do you think was real? Like,
it is true. It is resident. Real.
So the 66 giants or whatever.
So he technically, so in the Edda, or at least part of what I've read and what I've seen adapted. Once Ragnarok starts, well, even before that, Thor is sent by Odin to kill the Jotnar. So it's basically a battle between the Aesir, which is Thor, Odin, everybody that's on the god side, like Freya, whatever, and those people, against the Jotnar, which are the giants and another faction. So he does kill the giants. Like he just Mjolnir's just like wrecking shit everywhere.
Let's get it.
Yeah.
And those gauntlets he has, are those usually those are totally new?
Nope. The only thing that was actually cool that they kept is his magic belt. So his belt increases his strength tenfold, apparently.
I want that belt.
Yeah.
Be throwing up 2,000 pounds on the bench. It'd be like 5'7", my ass.
Pulling a Batman.
That would, actually. We'll be talking about him a little bit later. Well, I mean, I guess since Mizu is still catching up, and we have talked about it a good amount here. I do want to talk more grand scope on the show as a whole. So it's not completely spoiler filled, but so we've seen 3 fights, and knowing anime the way it is, Goku never fights anybody outside of their highest capabilities. You flesh if it's best out of 13, you best believe you're getting 13 fights. It's gonna be 6-6, and the last fight's gonna prove it. Okay, so if we're getting 3 fights a season, do you think we're actually gonna see 4 more seasons?
Damn. I don't know what your opinion might be, Mizu, since you've only seen one of them. Because I think it's 2 episodes per fight, right? It's 3 fights, 2 episodes.
It was 3 fights. It was 3 fights in 12 episodes. So
okay, so it's a little bit
4
more.
episodes per fight.
That's true. Okay, bet. So I think it depends on how people receive it, right? I, for one, thought that it was like, okay, in my opinion, it was like mindless fun first fight, strategy second fight, and then strategy and emotion third fight. So it got better and better and better.
Yeah,
that's how I see it, right? So I would personally give it 3 seasons if they shorten the episodes a bit,
which is something that, like, based off critical reception, I could see them doing.
Yeah, so I would do 3 seasons, right? Because you build it up, and I think 3 seasons is usually what people recommend being like a good amount for.
Don't CW it.
Yeah, don't
end
overdo
after
it.
3.
Exactly. So I would say 3 seasons. How about you, Mizu? From what you've seen.
I definitely agree with that. Like you said, like there's 12 episodes, but it's only 3 fights in total, as in 4 episodes per fight. That is pretty lengthy. It is pretty lengthy to watch the same people fight for 4 episodes straight. So yeah, I can see them doubling it down a little bit. Maybe make it 2 episodes a fight, or 3, depending on how they write it and how they do it, pace it out.
Yeah.
And also overall, it all depends on how well received the anime is. And I mean, really just based off of TikTok, a lot of people aren't, I guess, feeling it per se.
Want it.
Well, so I made a series about best animes, the best of this season's animes, and people were like, if you don't make Record of Ragnarok #1, we riot. And then there's people who are like, this is a slideshow. And I was like, so it's all over the place, really. But if I'm sitting down with Netflix, I say, listen, you have a show that is the gold standard in pacing in Kengan Ashura. Gold standard in pacing. 1 fight per episode, bang it out, getting through it. They do a little bit of intro, they do a little bit of cutouts, they do like 30-second cutouts about grappling or techniques or different kind of that, amalgamations or histories, all of that. That is the gold standard for battle tournament pacing. Just match Kengan Ashura. Like, is it gonna give you a little bit of a shorter runtime? Maybe, yeah. Maybe you have to cut some things out of the manga, but like at least like 2 episodes. Like give me like 2 episodes of fight. Give me 1 episode that's the history of them both, and then the next episode is the entirety of their fight. Like, just nail it out. You know,
I like that.
And so, I mean, we'd be looking at 6 more fights, and then you can do the last big 3. You know, you can do another 3 episode or something. But like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I definitely say my biggest thing is it's fun, but there is definitely room for improvement.
Agreed.
Yeah. I mean, if you had to sit down with them and you were like, listen, like, this is how you can improve moving on, what would you say, Jose?
For me, in terms of improvement, definitely keep a sense of emotion around it. So like you do see a little bit of personality in the second and third fight for each one of the fighters. So that was key for me, just showing that little bit of personality instead of just like random battle tournament. Because as I said, the third fight is my favorite so far.
I'd say so, yeah.
So definitely keep a little bit of personality, but cut it out with the like doubling down on, for example, if somebody swings, it's a
So many
repeat of
crowd
the
reactions.
swings. Oh my god! And like
every single attack, we had to see Broomhilda and all the people that were with the god and all the people that every single attack, it was like
and like reacting, like
it was so
everybody react, and then so it's like when the character's making a realization mid hit, he's still making the hit and still reacting. It's like have them react as they're having the hit, and then just conclude the motion, like follow through, bro. Like it's the natural momentum, right? It doesn't have to be cut after jump cut after jump cut, and then their reactions, facial reactions for both. It's like slim it down, make it like
trim the fat,
take out the filler,
trim the fat,
pull a DBZ Kai, take out the filler, and everything will be much better.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. This, but I guess that's technically just making it closer to the manga. But yes, Kai it. Okay. And I guess Mizu, we'll get your more hearty, rich opinion on it next week. Yeah. Cool.
Yep.
So we talked about him earlier because he was at the Tournament of the Gods. He was at Ragnarok. Loki, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, baby.
Wow, are we scaling up quickly? Holy shit, this is getting off to a pace. Like speaking of the exact opposite of Record of Ragnarok, like it is literally flying. I mean, so I guess the big thing that happened is we met Lady Loki. That's the big reveal. But 2 episodes. That's it. What'd you guys think?
Mizu, you want to go first on this one?
I'm sure. Well, honestly, at first I was surprised by it a little bit, but then after looking it up, Loki's actually only going to be like 6 episodes.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I don't know why the Marvel TV shows are getting like shorter and shorter episodes for whatever reason that is. So it makes sense for her showing up in the 2nd episode. I just love all the little, again, MCU Marvel Easter eggs that they put into the episode. Yeah, we finally get to meet Lady Loki.
Yeah.
And some people actually speculate that she might be a different character, but that's
not Loki.
Theory.
Oh,
no, it's a whole different character. Some people think, but I like how they're added into. I like how this episode is going to all our suspicions about the TVA. That the TVA just sounds just very sketchy, very shady.
Yeah. And I don't like that we haven't seen the timekeepers are being so well kept. I wonder if they're even there.
That's a good question. There are some theories that I've been hearing about what are the TVA? Are they actually people? So the first theory I heard is that one, like you said, they don't actually exist and it's all being controlled by the judge herself. She just put it on the front to be in control.
That would be so sick. Oh, I didn't thought of that.
Yeah, which makes sense because again, like I said in the previous episode, she is the confidant to another major villain in Marvel, King the Conqueror, who's basically Thanos with time travel. And it seems like it's something that she would do. A second theory involving King the Conqueror is that some people speculate it's not the TVA, it's actually King the Conqueror himself. And some people speculated this kind of thing. It's like, if you go back to the TVA prologue, the little slideshow they talked about, one of the time variance authority was a blue-faced guy. And King the Conqueror is a blue-faced individual who is dressed up in his armor and has a blue face as well. So some people speculate that he is the time variant, but he's the only one.
So what's his play here then? Why keep, so I mean, maybe there's like a timeline, a specific timeline that makes sure Kang the Conqueror is like reign over heaven, like Dio, like he's over heaven. So like he's trying to preserve that one specific timeline and create the TVA just to do that.
So it is kind of similar to what he's done in the comics. He's done that where he messes with time so he can be in charge and rule over. There's another one where he's actually trying to save his time because I guess where he exists, time is at its end or something's going on where like I guess human race or something like that is going to be destroyed. And so he's going back in time to either fix it or manipulate time so he can save his, because he's a ruler, so he can save his quote unquote time kingdom.
Yeah.
But the Avengers getting away from him doing that.
Goddamn Avengers. Meddling kids. See, okay. So Jose, give me your thoughts.
I absolutely love this episode. It finally established a little bit more in terms of the time variance authority's visual on time and how it works. As he mentioned with Loki, the Nexus events are basically strays from a predetermined outcome. Yeah. Right. So according to them, their sacred timeline, which I mentioned on TikTok,
creating,
is BS. Yes, is BS. The sacred timeline is BS. That's what I mentioned in my TikTok. There's predetermined outcomes and there's variations in those that they're trying to stop because it varies from what the timekeepers want because they stopped the first intergalactic time war, right? So the Nexus War or whatever. I think, and I said it as well, Lady Loki and Loki should join forces and try to set the Multiverse of Madness in motion. He's the catalyst. That's what I think. Yeah. Another thing that I love that they mentioned is the fact that Lady Loki is a variant, but she's also Loki itself because, and they mentioned it. I think there was an Easter egg where they showed the paperwork. Loki's gender, even in the mythology, is gender fluid. So Loki Loki does show as a woman sometimes.
Well, I guess when you can change your body to look like whatever the fuck you want. Yeah, I guess
Loki gave birth to an 8-legged horse. Like he birthed a horse. So like there's Loki is a massive enigma.
Did he have to fuck a horse?
Well, that's so like I learned about that mythology. That is so funny.
Do it, Mizu. Do it.
I don't. So apparently, it's like Mr. Hands all over again.
Look, so the reason I know is because my wife is really big on Nordic mythology.
Okay.
And she would tell me all this stuff, which really helped her when I played God of War 3. So God of War 4 and all that stuff. So I guess there's an 8-legged horse that Loki basically gave birth to, but in that mythology, in that story, it goes into where Mjolnir was built. The same thing with all the known items throughout Norse mythology were built. And while they were doing that, while they were still going with that contest, I don't want to go into too much detail for time's sake, but there was a whole contest, and the dwarfs made the weapons that we know today: Mjolnir, Thor's belt, Freya's hair. Yep, Odin's spear. Mm-hmm. And later on, and during one of the contests, Loki had to distract this very known powerful horse that was part of the contest. So he transformed it to a horse and lured the horse away. And after the contest was over, Loki was gone for like a long period of time. They had no idea where he went. And then after a couple of months, he came back with this 8-legged horse. And they're just like, he gave the 8-legged horse to Odin as a present. He said, here's your present. All you have to do is just don't ask me where it came from. So you can interpret that as whatever you want that to be.
They wrote that?
Yes, sir.
They were like, for Valhalla. And also, like, Loki did fuck a horse that now has what? Oh, goodness.
Even though it's a weird 8-legged horse, that horse is powerful. It can literally transfer, what's the word?
Consciousness?
Not transfer consciousness. It can traverse all 9 realms just like that. Yeah,
that's true.
It can travel. It's the fastest being in Norse mythology.
Probably having 8 legs.
Like, it's a very powerful horse.
I don't doubt it.
And I love the fact that they keep bringing like mythology into the MCU. Like they keep using certain parts of mythology in the MCU. Another thing that's really important that I think we should cover is the wild thing that is the branching timelines and how indiscriminate they go into each one. But then even more importantly,
I was going to say because they just drop into these timelines, and I was like, you being there, is going to cause a branch. But then I was like, oh yeah, they're also just nuking these timelines. I was like, they're not like, they're just like, hey, we're here. And they go to like a Renaissance fair in the 1980s. And I was like, you guys don't fit it at all. Like, you're now changing the course of everybody around you, but they're also just literally nuking the entire timeline. So I guess it doesn't matter.
But yeah, and I agree, and thank you for bringing up that point. The thing that I was going to bring up is their reasoning for the whole chase that took place in the episode, which is cataclysmic events, right? Why they chose Ragnarok, why they chose Pompeii, why they chose the hurricane in 2050, because apparently you can't prevent cataclysms.
Yeah. That's what they said had to be natural.
Yeah, it has to be a naturally occurring cataclysm. So now that they're bringing like mythology into it and stuff like that, like how do you guys see this affecting the MCU? Because if you can't break a naturally occurring cataclysm, is it just variant events happening up to that point, and then just time just creates a separate new branch once the cataclysm happens?
Well, I guess so. So what they said is everyone in the area has to die, because that way anyone whose story had been modified by the variancy prior to that, cataclysm is now gone. So that they're no longer any variants. So the concretes are the events. And so if nobody around is being left after the event to be affected by the variancy, it doesn't matter anymore. My thing is, though, Ragnarok wasn't natural. Like, Ragnarok wasn't like, a volcano exploding or a hurricane or a tidal wave. It was a god bursting out of a mountain and killing everybody in Asgard.
The only thing with Ragnarok specifically is that it's fated to happen. Like it's meant to like at one point, even in the mythology or whatever version of Ragnarok you come into, like it's fated to happen. Like Odin is supposed to die by Fenrir. Or obviously Marvel's going to change everything with like the way their multiverse works, but for Ragnarok specifically, it's meant to happen. So it is natural in that sense that like maybe the protagonists change, but the event is slated to happen at some point in history. Doesn't matter when, but it will happen. So that's the only thing I would have to say about that one.
Interesting. And so I mean, I guess another big thing is so yeah, I do think the TVA are the bad guys here, but are we staunchly on Lady Loki's side here? Like, I feel like a lot of theories are floating around the TVA being the bad guys.
Yeah,
that would be a very Marvel thing for them to do. But like, are we already like, was there ever a bad guy if we're already on Lady Loki's side?
I got my opinions. What do you think, Mizu?
Honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards, I don't know, knowing how Loki is, I don't think Loki, in a plural term, is doing this out of just being a good guy. There's like, of course, like they're doing it for their own personal reasons. I think in my opinion, I think Lady Loki's doing this because I guess she didn't like how her timeline turned out, and she just thinks, just like kind of like how our current Loki doesn't like what's happening to him.
Yeah.
And thinks just the whole concept of this some type of authority telling you what you can do with your destiny just rubs Loki the wrong way.
Yeah.
So she feels as though like she's not only is she helping herself, she thinks that she's just like in a way doing a greater good, like, oh, no one's gonna tell me my destiny, no one's gonna tell anybody else's destiny. So I would kind of say she's a good guy. And plus, I'm not gonna lie, the intro to the episode playing "I Need a Hero," I don't know.
Dude,
maybe
that song is everywhere. That song is everywhere.
It really is. Why are 80s songs coming back?
I'm just letting you know, they did not do that for the TVA troopers. That was not for them. That was for Lady Loki.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, they did need a hero, though. They keep getting murdered. So I guess, I mean, it's hard to be on Lady Loki's side, though, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, I guess you could say that the TVA troopers are not necessarily humans, but like, I don't know, Owen Wilson wants to ride a jet ski, so who's to say he's not human? He has wants, he has needs, he has emotions, those kinds of things. So like, she is murdering a lot of people.
It's kind of tough, right? Because the same thing goes for the TVA. They murder people in every single
True
variation they go to. Even though they have like a sacred purpose or whatever. I'm calling it. I've been calling it for the jump. It looks too good to be true. And knowing that Kang the Conqueror is involved because of Ravonna, and then like we know Quantum Mania is a thing. So like everything outside of Loki is pointing towards the TVA being shady or having ulterior motives. Like it could be it could be sort of a Punisher thing where like the ends justify the means. But like everybody, dude, with Marvel, there are certain, and like comics in general, there's certain people that call the shots, right? You could try to say that you call the shots, but you don't call the shots. Like the only one that calls the shots in terms of continuity is the One Above All and the Living Tribunal. Like nothing happens that they don't want it to happen. So
that's fair. Yeah.
So the TVA, while they may have a specific function, may be corrupted, right? As the timekeepers are, because the timekeepers are three beings that initially the time twisters were corrupted and they went into different realities to destroy them and forge them into cataclysms. Like it's a lot of complicated history that Marvel's trying to put into a very cohesive narrative, and I'm glad that Loki's at the center. The big thing, at least for me, right, is how is the relationship between Loki and Morbius going to evolve? Because Morbius in the comics has like clones of himself, so like he that do different, have performed different functions and stuff. So like I'm curious to see, is this that one? Yes. My last big thing.
Okay, here we are.
That I just realized from a lot of TikToks, Quantum Mania is a big thing, right? Quantum Mania is going to have Kang the Conqueror. We saw the TVA in a snapshot of like seeing it from the outside, right? And people were really observant in saying that looks like the quantum realm. And another thing is the Mobius confirmed it by saying, I don't know, time runs differently in the TVA. And that phrase is used a lot when referring to the quantum realm.
Yeah.
So do you guys think that we're going to see Ant-Man? Do you guys think that the TVA is just an illusion? Like there's a lot of theories in the air. I wanted to see which one resonated with you guys.
I don't, until this very moment, I didn't know that there was theories regarding whether or not the TVA was in the quantum realm or anything regards to that. So I wouldn't say I have any theories about that, but I do remember the line. And here's the thing. I think Marvel very rarely says things that don't have anything to do down the line. Like the fact that Loki was talking about the differences between illusionary casting and whatever the other thing was. I think that's going to have downstream repercussions somewhere, like where it's going to be like, oh, it's Chekhov's. No, is it Chekhov's gun? Is that what the trope is called? You know, the gun. If you see the gun in Act 1, it'll be used in Act 3. So I don't have any theories nearly regarding that, but that would make a lot of sense because, like I said, Marvel doesn't usually waste words. What about you, Mizu?
I definitely seen that theory on TikTok as well, and I think it's pretty interesting. And honestly, it's so coherent too. Like it's not some of those like out there theories like everybody thinking that everything has to do something with Mephisto and WandaVision. So doing that, I kind of wanted that.
People thought that was going to happen. How do I miss these theories?
Yeah, a lot of people thought that Mephisto was going to show up in WandaVision.
Interesting.
But that one makes sense. Honestly, yeah, we saw in Ant-Man 2 a little city in the background in the quantum realm. The same line, time works differently. And then we got Quantum Mania with Kang the Conqueror. And some people have speculated that another thing that's interesting with that, I don't know if they would go this direction though, is that they said that Kit Harington's Black Knight might also be in Ant-Man Quantum Mania. And it's funny enough because in the comics, the Black Knight is one of the people who takes down Kang the Conqueror.
Shit.
It's exciting.
Okay. So we got a lot. Okay. Yep. Go ahead, Jose.
No, yeah. One final thing that I saw is like another theory that like tries to like point towards the theory of quantum realm is that all the bombs have an orange liquid
Oh,
which is
yeah.
very similar to the same liquid slash variation of the Pym particles that Ant-Man used in Endgame to go back in time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say they are in the quantum realm. What does that really have to do with anything, though? Like, what repercussions does that hold?
You can travel the universe, man. Like with the quantum realm, you can travel time, space. Like it's a full interstellar type moment where like it's just wherever you land is where you land. So it's kind
It's
of
like the
weird.
Nether in Minecraft.
Yeah,
It's
7
a
blocks equals
realm
1.
within itself. Like it's a realm, or it's a whole plane of existence
Mm-hmm.
in itself. Like, you know, when Ant-Man was in there for 5 minutes, and it turned out to be 5 years when he got out. They used it to travel time to get the Infinity Stone. So
Yeah.
it is possible that
Okay.
basically the Time Variance Authority just maybe already knew about this technology and already had mastered it beforehand.
Yep.
Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, cool. Yeah, that those theories are absolutely new to me. But hey, that's all I got on Loki until we can maybe confirm some of these theories. Gentlemen, are you good?
Yeah, I would just say we have to be very, very observant. I think this is going to be one of those type of shows because I've seen like stills. One thing that I did want to like mention, right?
I actually just remembered I have one more thing too.
Yeah. So the other thing that I mentioned, right, is that final scene. Very fitting, right? We're talking about the finale of our Loki analysis and then the final scene in Loki. All the variant, the Nexus events that were happening.
Timelines, yeah.
Bro, Asgard, Jotunheim, what's it called? Obviously, Alabama. There's like all the different places that were. Oh yeah, so I got the list. Vormir, the location of the Soul Stone. Asgard, Jotunheim, Xandar, where the Nova Core is. Ego, the living planet. Like,
yep,
that's where a variance is happening.
Star-Lord's dad.
And then finally, Titan,
okay,
which is Thanos' home world.
Yeah.
Which is that's like, okay, there were rumors that Thanos might show up in the Eternals. There's like a lot of stuff like the MCU doesn't show us anything that doesn't have meaning, right?
Yeah.
So we saw like 6 or 7 Nexus events or branches. Maybe Loki could set off the events of the Eternals. I don't know. Like, it's weird. I like it.
You know, what would be interesting is because Thanos is the person who kills Loki, obviously snaps his neck. You know, undying was an interesting choice of words. So who's to say, you know, because Titan dies out basically from a natural disaster. They die out from poverty, malnourishment, those kinds of things. So it's definitely a possibility that that is one of the cataclysms that Lady Loki is hiding within. And it would be an interesting, like, hey, let's hop back to Titan as like looking for Lady Loki in order to avoid variance. But at this point, are we even trying to avoid variance now that she's already essentially bombed the sacred timeline? My question is, do you think Loki's actually trying to join Lady Loki, like how he said he is? Or is he just trying to lie to her to get close to her and catch her for the TVA? It's kind of like with the Joker, you know, being an unreliable narrator. It's like you can never trust the motivations of a known liar trickster. That's actually a large part of the first episode. It's a large trope of the first episode.
Yep. I think I want to hear what Mizu has to say, but I think I what I was gonna say is that I could call it self-preservation, but that first episode when he was alone in that room looking at the events of his life, that doesn't lie. Like he wasn't trying to fool Morbius there. Like he was crying. He was like visibly shook. So like you could say self-preservation, but I think now that his glorious purpose is literally just his demise, I think he might have an ulterior motive. You just don't know what it is yet.
Mizu?
Honestly, I agree with Jose with that one. It's gonna come off at first as self-preservation, and it might just turn into something where he actually might help the TVA, or at least maybe help specifically Mobius specifically. Because I don't think, because overall he's been questioning TVA, and I don't think he's going to be helping the TVA for the sake of helping them, since he like questions them and already seems like the TVA is a shady organization in itself. Yeah. So I think he just might do it out of companionship, that he has respect for Morbius. So I think he might do it for him specifically, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I think either way, whether he aligns himself with Lady Loki or he aligns himself with the TVA, he is, looking for self-preservation. Because if he aligns himself with Lady Loki, essentially he can void his own death by no longer having to live on the sacred timeline. Or if he aligns himself with the TVA, he can live what they identified as the only free lives in the universe, because essentially they're the only people that exist outside of the sacred timeline, meaning that everybody's fate is already predetermined. Every choice you ever make, if you ever make the wrong one, snapped, it's gone. So I agree. I think it's largely in self-preservation. But it wasn't. What, Mizu?
Oh, are we still on Marvel, or are we going to change it to something else?
I was going to say largely in self-preservation. I was gonna segue into Bad Batch, but if you have something left on Loki,
I was actually gonna. There's actually some more Marvel news that just got pertaining into the MCU.
Okay.
So
this is breaking news. Breaking news.
It's not breaking news, but it is interesting though.
Okay.
So, it is said that a Korean actor named Park, I don't know if I pronounced this correctly. A Korean actor named Park So-joon will be joining the MCU's in the Marvels.
Good to see if I.
He's an actor who's been involved in a drama case series called Ita Class, and he's also he played a character in Parasite named Min.
Okay.
So it is speculated.
He's the college friend, in he's the guy who's the tutor prior to the main character. It doesn't. We remember him. Yeah.
So a lot of people are speculating that he might be playing 3 possible characters. The first one is Amadeus Chow. And for those who don't know who Amadeus Chow is, he is basically another Hulk-like character. He's a genius teen who has abilities just like the Hulk. He can turn to the Hulk.
Oh.
It's pretty much the same thing, but I think he has more control and actually said to be a little bit more dangerous than the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some kind of a little bit background to back this up, because we actually met his mother in the MCU. So remember back in Age of Ultron when Ultron had that one scientist lady helping him out build Vision's future body?
Mm-hmm. The one
that is Amadeus Chow's mother, Helen Chow.
Oh,
wow.
So some people speculate that it might be him. However, some people are just like, I don't know, maybe not yet, because we still have to be introduced to She-Hulk and things of that nature. So it's still up in the air. Another character that might be more possible is this character named Novar. Novar is a Kree soldier who later became a superhero.
Are we going to get more Miss Marvel content? Is there a Miss Marvel 2 in the works? Have we heard anything about this? Because I mean, if we're talking Krees.
You didn't hear about? Yeah, there's a Marvel 2 there's a Marvel 2. It's called The Marvels, and it's going to be featuring Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau as Spectrum. So
this is interesting. Okay, yeah.
He might be I say a Kree turned soldier, a Kree soldier turned superhero, who has basically he's like the way he's described. He's like Captain America on steroids. Because he has.
I would say Captain America's already on steroids.
But like, I guess he has another extra power as a Kree, but it hasn't really been like super explained. And his name is Marvel Boy.
Interesting.
So that is a possibility.
They love that word, don't they? Marvel. Mm-hmm. They're Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so it makes sense going with the title of the movie, The Marvels. So that's another strong possibility. And the third one is just that he might just be playing a sidekick. He might just be someone who just happened to be very important to one of the characters, and he just might be in the background, shows up. The regular, human character.
Yeah. Good for him. So, amongst the Marvels. A man amongst the Marvels. That'll be his name in all of it. But okay, cool. So if we're moving on to Bad Batch, is it weird that this is the episode I was the most excited for out of everything we were getting this week? That's probably weird, right?
Yeah, but it's well deserved because it was the best episode, at least, well, one of the best episodes that we've gotten.
But we've said that about every episode as it's come out.
True.
This show is an exponential graph. It's x squared equals whatever. I don't remember algebra, but it's getting exponentially better every week. By the way, we're talking about Bad Batch. I'm sorry. We're talking about Bad Batch. Disney Plus's Bad Batch. The Death Troopers look so sick. But here's my thing. Why not just give all stormtroopers black armor? Like they're marching through the dead of night, and I was like, what? Remember what?
They're saving that money. They're saving that money.
Are you telling me white armor is cheaper to make than black armor?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's made out of plastic, because we saw some blaster fire be tanked.
Yeah.
Very, very importantly.
Again, my last note is they must have better armor, but we'll get there in a second. Like, it was an incredible episode. That was a lot of fun, and we're finally starting to get high circumstances, like important plot developing, large highfalutin ideology playing out in Star Wars. And thank God we've got there. It only took like 9 episodes, but I mean, yeah. So you think it's the best episode that we've seen thus far? I think it's the best episode we've seen thus far. Mizu, are you gonna be the odd man out here?
Honestly, I also think it's the best episode. Honestly,
thank God.
Mostly because of the near ending.
Oh, yes.
For those who didn't know, for those who've been watching the Star Wars: The Clone Wars show, I don't know you noticed this, Nick, but that bounty hunter, he's not just some random guy that just happened to show up. He's actually a prominent bounty hunter in the Star Wars Clone Wars show.
He's a cowboy,
on par, if not better, in my opinion, than Boba Fett.
No way.
He trained Boba Fett, so
he actually does train Boba Fett.
That explains why Hunter lost that draw then, because he's just a clone. Bro.
So that I was gonna save that till the end, but yes, it's literally
shit.
That's how I know that. So okay, basically, to give people the summary, if you haven't seen it, it's basically the Empire has found our boys in the Scrapper planet, right? They are essentially trying to get some resources from the Jedi Starfleet ship in order to pay Sid their debt. And we have a very big theme as well that I wanted to cover, which is, what are we? Because, for example, I know Echo says we're soldiers. Like, we have to help Rex. What else is there besides being a soldier? And then Hunter's like, well, there's more. There could be more.
We're dads.
Yeah, we're dads. And then the moment that I knew that Omega is a big target is when they hired Cad Bane. Because for those of you that, as Mizu mentioned, there is a point where even the Emperor Palpatine hires this man. Like, this dude has clowned Anakin Skywalker canonically. Good. He's clowned Obi-Wan Kenobi canonically.
He's getting a movie.
He's ridiculously powerful. He got trained by Jango Fett himself. Like, you can't get any better than that.
So Jango Fett trained him, and then he trained Boba Fett
to return the favor.
That's what happens when you get cut in half, I guess.
Exactly.
You need
exactly. So I'm beyond excited to see who Omega is. I just wanted to see. Okay, so what about the episode intrigued you guys to make it? Besides, obviously, for Mizu and I, this like huge cameo appearance. What about you, Nick?
That Crosshair is a fucking savage.
Oh, true.
Crosshair is, listen, they corner the Bad Batch and Omega, and they're trying to reason with Crosshair. They're like, listen, you have an inhibitor chip. We took ours out. We can save you. It's not your problem. And his response isn't like, oh, you're right, I'm coming back. It's aim for the kid. Like, what?
Incinerate them.
Don't aim for Wrecker. Don't aim for Hunter. Don't aim for Tech Echo. Aim for the child with a bow. Why? Don't the Death Troopers want to bring back Omega?
He's dead or alive, bro.
For real. I think I love that line the most. I think to me it's one of the top 10 Star Wars lines, because that line alone, when he said that, reminded me from Star Wars Rebels when it was Darth Vader versus Ahsoka. And Ahsoka's just like, we need to get out of here. I don't want to leave you. And then we see Darth Vader with his messed up face. We can see his actual eye. He's just like, then you will die. And then I was just like, damn, that's insane. Like, the emotion.
That's his Padawan.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the emotions were there. And I felt the same way when they were trying to reason with when they try to reason with him, and he just say, "Aim for the kid." Like
He's
just
gone.
like forget what you said.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's
gone, bro.
He's not coming back. Like
He's
I
gone.
do think he will sacrifice himself or something. That I said that the second I saw him switch, but for at least the moment, he's gone. That man is a straight up savage. And you know who else had a pretty savage moment was Omega. Omega was ripping people with that bow. She was putting it through chests. Omega killed people. So did Wrecker. I wrote this. I said Wrecker's killed like 6 people. Because like you can say what you say about Blaster Fire. Like clearly it's like, you know, I mean, Hunter tanked the shot. Like, so he's fine. Wrecker was throwing people off cliffs.
Yeah. And he like the explosions too. Like they put the explosions around the cylinder. It was a straight up badass move. Honestly, I love it. I love it.
And because of the explosions, Crosshair got Anakin'd. Since we were just talking about him, he got Anakin'd real hard. Like his face is mutilated. He's gonna like. Do you think he's gonna get the ventilator and all that, or you think he's just gonna keep the helmet on permanently?
I don't know.
He's just gonna have a scarred up face. Just to be honest.
Yeah. But he was ruthless. Just like engage the engine, like incinerate them. It's like dead or alive. Mission comes first. And I'm like, yo, Crosshairs is too far gone. He's lost in the sauce.
But they like super boosted his inhibitor chip. Like So at this point, it was the Kaminoans, right, who hired the bounty hunter, because they're trying to get Omega back. But the Empire doesn't care; they just want them eliminated because they're traitors, right?
Exactly.
So, like, do you think that your theory that Omega is a Force user is getting more or less prevalent with how much weight the Kaminoans are putting on her retrieval?
The big thing as well, another big thing is like the fact that Cad Bane is in this series now opens so many doors, because another thing from the Clone Wars is that Cad Bane was the one that was tasked to infiltrate the Jedi Temple to take the files from the Force sensitive children. So like the plan that like Lord Sidious had of like having a Force sensitive army that we see kind of played out a little bit in Jedi Fallen Order, that was made possible because of Cad Bane. Like so this Omega to have so much of a target that you need to hire Cad Bane is ridiculous. So like how can she not be a Force user? Or like maybe she just has the DNA of somebody that's really important. Because we know at least from what we've seen, and then like the sequel trilogy, that like the end game for Palpatine is just immortality, Sun Wukong style, but like just by finding someone with force sensitivity high enough to have him as a host, right? That's his end game, eternal life. But for Omega to be such a valued asset, and his admirals to be like admirals and stormtroopers to be like, just kill her, just bring her back to me, like dead or alive. It's just like she herself, like her body, is super valuable, which is really interesting to me. Like it's not a matter of just like raising her to be a weapon, or like having her be your Padawan. It's like, nah, bro, we just want her dead or alive. So like it's weird.
My thing is, why? So if the Kaminoans are making a Force user, why not tell the Empire? Like, why are the Empire in the dark? Are the Kaminoans trying to be like, hey, listen, we're going to fight back with this clone? Like, what's going on there?
I want to get Mizu's opinion on this, because just like with Marvel, the way that Filoni works, verbal cues are really important. He said the contingency plan. Like the Kaminoans have a contingency plan for the Empire, right? For being ruled by the Empire, or surviving the transition from Republic to Empire. And they said like it's part of the contingency plan, and we have people working on that. So like they said they meant Cad Bane with that, but what's the contingency plan? That's what we're trying to find out. What do you think, Mizu?
Honestly, it's like you said, Jose. What Cad Bane in the picture, it does open the door of her possibly being a Force user, or having something, I guess, in her DNA that is very important. Because like you said, in the Clone Wars series, Cad Bane, most of his missions involve Jedi. Like Cad Bane is one of those few bounty hunters who can go par to par with Jedi. he even disguised himself as a Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Like he is like ruthless, and like he is a person that every time he came up on screen,
this man.
Black Air Force One energy personified.
Put him in Battlefront.
Dude.
Every time this man showed up on screen, I honestly got worried a little bit because he's also very smart, and he's even faked his own death.
Yeah.
And we for a long minute thought that we defeated him, and he showed up again. Like,
dude,
it's insane. So when Cad Bane's there, I'm just like, I don't know. It's a wild card. And there are episodes in Clone Wars where Cad Bane actually wins, and we have to find out maybe the next episode if they might get ahead. Like he's a very smart bounty hunter.
Yeah,
dude,
I mean,
that man,
he won this episode.
That man literally got himself arrested on purpose to build a criminal syndicate from prison.
He jokered it.
He literally.
Yeah.
From like, and this is during the Republic time. So like Anakin and Obi-Wan are there, and they still got clowned.
God damn. This man is a savage. Okay, that's I love. See, this is why I love having you guys here, because I just thought he was a guy in a cool hat. I was like, wow, I was like, quick draw
for his hat. Yes,
he do be known for that hat.
He's got a dope ass hat. So now that we've gotten to Cad Bane, what are they wearing? What are they wearing? They have to have better armor. I'm sorry, it's gotten to the point. Hunter's been shot 3 times. No, a Wrecker's been shot 3 times. Hunter took one square to the chest and went down. Also, like, if anybody was going to be Cad Bane in a draw contest, it would have been Hunter, maybe Crosshair. But like, what, they have to be wearing better armor, right? Or is all clone armor just good and all clones are just kind of dramatic?
So from what I've seen online, they're wearing Republic Commando gear. So they're wearing the best gear that the Republic could have made. Basically.
Oh, okay. So they got that Teflon. No, that
yeah,
Kevlar.
Basically.
They got Kevlar. Teflon goes on pans. Gotcha.
So I don't think it's like a Beskar level, but it's definitely high tech. Like it's the one that Rex has, stuff like that.
The money went into that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. Okay, cool. That's all I had for Bad Batch, unless you guys got something else, because I got not actually a ton to talk about with MHA here, but it was a pretty interesting episode.
Take us home, baby.
All right, guys, it's Christmas time. Did you know that? Did you guys? Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Jose. Did you know that? Merry Christmas, Mizu. We got a Christmas episode from MHA in mid-June, which was interesting. I was like, they were like playing Christmas music, and I was like, okay, I'm a bit lost, but I'm here for it. You know, it's nice out, it's gorgeous. But so the episode opens in a wild scene, an entire city being leveled, and in the middle of it looks to be Shigaraki. That was Shigaraki, correct?
Yes, it was.
So we're playing up to something that you've said is a wild scene. Shigaraki doesn't have any of his hands. Refresh my memory. Where is Shigaraki right now? He's not in jail, right? Because he took off Overhaul's hands and then he just went off, right?
Yeah, they just dipped. They left. Yeah, after they took Overhaul's hands. They just disappeared and did their own thing. And Shigaraki is getting more powerful.
He looked ripped up.
Understanding his quirk.
Mm-hmm. He looked, because I've heard in the manga he gets very, very scary. People are like, don't clown on Shigaraki because he gets very scary in the future, even though Snipe almost ended his shit like 50 episodes ago.
Y'all can make fun of Itch Boy all day, but
Itch Boy walking Vaseline ad.
But this man is a threat,
a
serious threat.
Yeah. So that was a crazy start to and so now we're getting at this point where, you know, so Todoroki and Bakugo have an interview, and this actually has been a prevailing theme on TikTok recently. It's something that I think we can talk about that plays into MHA very, very well. At least on my FYP, it's been very prevalent. This show would be so much better if they knew how to write women. Like, I think this is something that we're seeing. What's crazy is it's something that we're seeing with new gen anime, and this is a problem that was with old gen anime. You know, you could say, I mean, One Piece has pretty good female leads, but Naruto, you know, no well written women. Bleach, no really well written women. Inuyasha, no well-written women. Like in now, like we're with the new gen anime. We're definitely like I think Black Clover I've heard has better well-written women. Certainly JJK is probably in my opinion outside of actual female-led like shows like Sailor Moon or Sakura Card Captor, things like that. I'd say is the gold standard for writing women. This show is just so exhausting. I just wish there's time. So essentially, for those of you who haven't seen the episode, Mount Lady and Miss Midnight are teaching everybody like how to like, everyone's like, here's how you interview. And it's just, they're so broken down to their bare sexuality. And say what you will, like maybe in a given circumstance that's what would happen. Like in reality, if we have these albeit very sexy women like fighting crime, like they are going to be the front page heroes. They're going to be the people who know all this about media exposure and things like that. But I just feel like this, am I alone here? Like this show just, there's no women that grab you and you're like, wow, you're well written and intelligent,
Honestly agree with that a little bit, because yeah, it's been noticed a lot that a lot of the time, female characters are not well represented. They're not well fleshed out.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I mean, to me, in My Hero, it is kind of a mixed bag, because there are some where they do play them off for like kind of fan service, and some of their motivations are kind of, basic in a way. But with that being said, I feel like a lot of the characters, besides like the main groups in a way, I think a lot of their motivations are just basic. Like, Kirishima, all the other side characters, a lot of their motivations are very basic. So you can make the argument about just all the characters in general, they're pretty basic. The one I kind of heard a little bit with Uraraka that I kind of don't agree with. So some people are saying that Uraraka is only motivated by Deku, which don't
recently we saw that she isn't. She's she wants to, she wants to be an inspiration for her parents, essentially.
Exactly. And yet, does she use Deku as a motivation? But she's not doing it for Deku.
No,
she's not doing it, but she's not trying to impress Deku. Like she's inspired by him because I mean he is a dude. Well, even before she didn't know that he didn't have a quirk. But the fact that in the beginning of the series he can't control his own quirk, everybody's thinking like, oh man, his quirk is a handicap on him, but he's still persevering. That motivated, honestly, most of the class, not just Uraraka.
Yeah. No, yeah. But seeing him power through, shattering his bones is obviously, it's an MC moment.
Exactly. So with Uraraka, that she was inspired by that. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep being better because I don't want to be that person you had, especially after the whole sports festival when she fought Bakugo and she was like trying her hardest. And even then she was just like, oh, Jose.
All good.
We'll get there. Anyway,
I didn't know what you were doing. I was like,
No, okay. I get what he was doing. Basically, she has genuine motivations that aren't based around a boy in a way. But
well, so the points that I've been seeing recently is basically it's largely on character design. So like things like Invisible Girl only having gloves, she's just walking around naked all the time, and the way that quirk could have been handled. The big three, getting a large part of Sun Eater and Lemillion's backgrounds, and never getting, I believe her name is Tamaki, never getting anything about Tamaki's backstory. So like if we're going to be fleshing out the big three, why not flesh out all big three? Even looking at like geniuses like Momo, like why, like we're seeing like strategical moments and things like that, but like we're just not like characters that we would love to see fleshed out aren't necessarily being fleshed out. We've gotten like rich backstories for Todoroki, Kirishima, Bakugo, Tokuyami, like obviously Deku, but we haven't really gotten anything in terms of a fleshed out backstory. So this is just things that I've been seeing on my TikTok recently. I feel like this episode kind of like verified it for me. And my other thing is Mountain Lady and Miss Midnight are Hisoka's, and nobody talks about it. All right. Todoroki's doing the interview, and Mount Lady's like, oh, he's doing so good, I want him. And I was like, you're a Hisoka. And no one's gonna call her on it.
That is honestly a discussion that we all need to have. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff we are discussing more in the anime community.
So I think yeah, it's something that's going to go on forever, you know. But I think as we are starting to see better female written characters, like I said with JJK, I think it's the gold standard. Another big thing out of this episode that's, I guess, less, you know, overarching is Best Jeanist is missing.
Yes. So the part I didn't like about this episode is that some people are going to write this off as just a filler episode. But if you pay attention in the episode, there's actually still canon stuff that they're talking about in that episode. And the Best Jeanist part is canon. That is true. Best Jeanist is
it was so quick. It was just like Bakugo's checking its phone. It was like Best Jeanist is missing. So what's going on there? I mean, you can't tell me, but
it's a part of the main plot. I can't say much, but so yeah, he is missing. So and it's going to be a trend.
Yeah. And so you're right. Like that is the way, and we talked about this last week, is the way that MHA is very capable in its ability to make filler episode actually important. What was actually filler of the episode, which was actually very cute, was the whole Christmas thing. And I had to look up what Setsuban was, which is when Eri comes in, she goes like trick or treat, and they're like, oh, wrong thing. And it was adorable. But then she starts throwing beans and going demons out, demons in. And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I was confused on that too.
So apparently it is on the last day of winter and the first day of spring, which I believe in Japan is considered, I think it was February 30th or something. It was sometime in February. You throw beans and you say fortune in, demons out. So she said it wrong, which was even cuter. But it's in order to get rid of last year's demons and bring in fortune for the new year. So I learned about a Japanese folk holiday. So yeah, if you think this episode is filler, we learned things about the show and about cultural history. So check yourself, okay?
Amen to that.
Yeah, exactly. So that is why you don't skip the filler. Also, Ida got gold bars for Christmas. Why?
I was thinking about that too. Like, no one brought up the fact that my man Ida got like actual like gold bars, like wealth.
Yeah, like three bars.
Lie, I'm gonna be honest. Ida did not need that because he's already a part of or kind of like a rich, powerful family.
Hero family. Yeah. All in all, it was a very cute episode. We got a couple of like big hints for things. What are we? We're probably on episode like all the other seasonal anime are coming in at like episode 11 or 12 right now. So we're probably looking at we're probably at like a mid-season break here, right? Okay. So we're gearing up for what looks like the Daika arc is going to be insanity. But listen, you know who's not that far is our guy who's about to get a season break because he just got up to episode 21, Jose. Put those headphones back on, my guy.
Oh, yes,
your turn to get us caught up on what's going on in your world.
So yes, I did put my headphones up because I did put my big boy pants and got 10 episodes in again. So I'm in the UA Sports Festival arc, episode 21.
That's why. Hey. Got you.
Yes, I am in the festival arc.
Okay.
So I am catching up slowly but surely. Lots of stuff happening at the same time. I'll give you a fire like opinions so far. Rapid fire.
There we go.
Tokoyami, badass. The horse style team battle, amazing. Love the headband play.
Another 8-legged horse.
It's very true. Also, I figured out Shoji is kind of like scary now because those are like his bones, just like crafting different, like protecting Asui and what's his name, Mineta. Do you remember?
Yeah, dude with the multiple arms and stuff like that.
Oh, got
you. He can contort his whole thing to be like it's wild. Todoroki is what Bakugo wishes he could be. Okay.
Yeah.
He is. I love Todoroki. Yeah. I love the emo. I love the emo boy with the troubled story. The fact that he stood up to his dad and his dad looks fucking amazing. He do be a douche, but he is amazing. So
there's actually a large discourse about him on the Ticks of Talks. Is that
I'm gonna say it. Endeavor is a great character. He is a great character.
Well written.
Okay,
he is.
he is a well-written character, but like overall, like honestly, like there's a lot of people who who have a issue with him, but to me, honestly, I think it's a matter of maybe like new anime watchers. It's because like if you think he's deplorable,
he's bad.
You haven't seen other people in anime.
You haven't met Shao Tucker.
Endeavor is like on the low list of deplorable individuals. Like,
oh yeah,
he's not. There's people who are higher up that get redemption arcs for no reason.
Yeah, like
yeah.
Go ahead. How's that?
No, what I was gonna say is that like he's definitely imposing.
Yes.
I definitely see that he is definitely determined to the point that he would actually like just keep making children until one of them inherited like a dopey quirk. It's like,
yeah,
buddy, listen, that's I mean, if you think that doesn't happen in real life, you're sorely mistaken. Make babies till one of them becomes a doctor. Like come on, just roll the gene pool. Like, come on.
Okay, I get it. So I like Endeavor as like the mysterious character that I will eventually either love or hate. Triple B is still Triple B forever. Don't like him.
Never change.
I don't like him. I don't like him yet. The battles that I've seen so far are awesome. The individual battles. Also, I want Shinso's quirk. I want it.
Of all the quirks, Shinso's.
In terms of practical application in real life, I want it. I feel like it would be cool.
I mean, give me one practical reason why Shinso's quirk is going to help you.
The DMV, easy money. The DM fucking V.
Like, I guess,
dude.
What is DMV? How are you going to help at the DMV here? Like,
no,
give me my license.
I meant like getting through, dude. It would make my life so much easier.
You're
TSA easier. The DMV easier. The grocery store way easier. Like,
what do you need to talk someone into giving you their bananas?
I need to talk somebody into these lines are freaking insane.
I guess
I don't like it. Hey, I it's just that. Okay, that battle was amazing. That vision was wild. Where he saw all the other people
fight again.
It's dope, bro. It's dope.
Yeah.
Like the way that Izuku's vision of like the previous One for All wielders right before he leaves the arena is pretty baller.
God, so I forgot that happened until this season.
There's so much happening, right?
Yeah.
in My Hero. I saw Ibara. She pulled a poison ivy on my dude Pikachu. Denki,
oh yeah. They also fight again.
She's I like class 1B. I find them very interesting.
Drastically underrated.
I like
very
them.
Underrated.
I do feel like Shinso is kind of like wild on the wilder side. But
that's fair. I mean, he's a wild card, that's for sure.
I mean, he wants to become a hero, or like wants to go into the hero program. So like that's, I guess. But I did cut off in the 21st episode when this dude, I forgot his name.
Just say his quirk. That's what we all do.
The red hair, Goku hair. Kirishima. He fought Metal Guy. Tetsu. So that's where I cut it off. It's
a great fight.
That's a dope fight. Hardening plus steel equals awesomeness.
Yeah.
I
want iron.
I want to address something though. Is it just me, or is Deku a firm student of the Batman School of Plot Convenience? Because my God, dude.
Well, wait. First off,
before
we malign Batman, since when was he known for plot convenience, good sir?
Bro, Batman beats.
Tried lightly. That's my favorite comic book character you're speaking on.
Hey. That's my favorite DC character, and my favorite DC character is Batman, but for all the reasons that people, for the opposite reasons that people like would like him for. Like it's
I guess I'm in the minority who's not I don't hate Batman, but I just think he's overrated.
I find his prep time to be total BS. And I feel like I'm slightly attributing it to Deku in the sense that every time he's nearing disqualification, being the last one, or at least I've just seen three moments, right?
The baseball throw.
Yeah, the baseball, the mines being like, okay, if I can just very carefully pull out the mines, which happen in like 5 seconds, I'll just blow them, and then I'll be first. It's like, okay, bet. And then against Shinzo, this is like,
that's called thinking.
Yes, but then in the battle with Shinzo, it's just like at the last moment, he's like, oh my god, is this the end? Will I lose? And it's just like vision, broken finger, I lived.
That's called perseverance. Plot.
No. I'm gonna say anything. Just let him continue to watch.
Yes,
I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna let him continue to watch.
He is innocent until proven guilty. Because I do be liking Deku. Batman is guilty until proven otherwise. But I like Deku, and I gotta be honest. I am not upset, but I am. I feel not disappointed, but apprehensive at Mizu's take. When will Bakugo prove his worth or his mettle or be actually cool?
Listen, there's two different. Me and Mizu actually sit on different sides of the fence here. There's two different parties.
There's two different schools of thought with Bakugo. You got the ones who hate him and still think that he's not the best, and you got the ones who look at it from a different perspective,
willing to give him a chance.
Here's the thing, guys. Like, I'm actually in the middle. I'm not 100% on the side. If you want to have this discussion, you should bring my wife. My wife is a Bakugo stan. She loves Bakugo.
Insanity.
She should be a special guest on the episode on
my goodness,
on the pod.
The Mr. and Mrs. episode. I'll bring on Dorothy. She doesn't know a goddamn thing about these shows.
I don't know. I just feel like he's literally. How do I say this? He's like, I got the perfect example. He is the 80s coming of age movie bully.
He's the guy you have to race in the skiing movie who wants it. Like, it's like the girlfriend depends on who wins, and his name is Chad, and he's got blonde hair and a sweet neon jumpsuit.
Bakugo does give up Chad energy. Yeah,
he does.
He's the principal in Ferris Bueller. He's the other dude.
I like that one.
He's the teacher in what's this called? Fuck, I forgot the.
Is now old man corner for all our younger listeners.
I know.
Talk about like 80s and 90s.
Sorry. Yeah, but he's that dude, right? He's awful. He's just awful. I don't know.
I will say this. It's like I say, it's all a matter of perspective and how much you understand his personality.
Yeah.
I also feel like I don't have enough backstory for him. Maybe backstory.
You don't ever really get more.
I don't think you will get in terms of anime. In terms of anime, you as of right now, you're not in the anime. You won't get enough of his backstory a little bit, but you will get more of understanding kind of why he does what he does, and why surprisingly he wants to be a hero. But besides that, you will a little bit more in the manga.
Okay,
but not a full backstory. Like, it's more like what you're going to be getting soon.
Yeah, and since we are talking about manga, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who can see me in a visual medium here, you can see that I'm wearing a little bit of Gunji Ito's Spiral into Horror merch here, and it's because I have some news for you, gents. If we're okay getting into winners and losers here. It's because I have a little bit of news for you, gentlemen and women out there, and theys. Listen, this is my favorite manga of all time. This is my only winner of the week, because this is how much this means to me. Gunji Ito's Spiral into Horror is getting an anime adaptation, and it's in motherfucking black and white.
Oh, okay.
Just like the manga, because color plays a very, very important part in Gunji Ito's lore building. And listen, ladies and gents, if you haven't read this manga, you do not know true horror manga, because this is a masterpiece. I have all the hardcovers. It's literally the manga that got me into manga. Gunji Ito is the inverse of oh Lord, the person who wrote Howl's Moving Castle, whose name I'm totally spacing right now, and also Spirited Away. Anyways, he's the complete opposite of that. He's opposite of Studio Ghibli. Everything beautiful becomes ugly. It's dark, it's gritty, and I'm looking forward to it. But that leads me to my loser of the week, since we're talking about the creation of new animes. We are now in the 11 to 12. Actually, technically, Vivi, the Fluoride Ice song, just finished. We're in the 12 to 13 episode area. It's been 12 weeks since the beginning of our seasonal anime. And we're in a hole, ladies and gentlemen. And listen, I, as your faithful seasonal anime watcher, I will find what's good coming out soon. I will. And I will watch it and I will tell you how it is. Right now, I have no anime on my horizon. Not one. So the loser is me, because my schedule is about to be real clear, because I have nothing on the horizon. So guys, if you know anime that are coming out soon and you want to recommend them to me, at Nixie Comedy on TikTok, please, or join my Discord and DM me. I need recommendations.
I have a 7-season show that you might want to be catching up on, since you like the Bad Batch.
Okay.
Because the Clone Wars is in Disney Plus, bro. So
catching up with Nick comes right after catching up with Jose. Yes. All right, that's all I got. Jose, you got winners and losers for the week?
Oh, I got a lot, actually. For one of us, I'm going with the winners first, because those are the best. Marvel fans, we are starting to get teases for the multiverse. The Nexus events have been confirmed by the MCU, right? And we've seen in different interviews and such that basically the alternate realities that we've seen in Marvel are just alternate realities that are happening in the MCU. So, like, for example, we could have the House of M storyline. We could have the Deadpool kills the Marvel universe in the MCU at some point. So, like, the what if show could have a lot of potential. So that's my main winner for Marvel. For Star Wars, we're getting a lot of context. The show is getting better.
Yes,
the show is getting better. So, like, I appreciate that.
My note was the show is getting really, in all caps, good.
Really good. There's a lot of context and a lot of fun to be had. Another winner, kind of referring to Marvel, Kevin Feige officially confirmed in an interview that Black Widow is not going to be the first prequel that we're seeing. And so as the Eternals come into play, could we see a Thanos origin movie? Question mark, because that
feels like a bold play. You know what? That's a bit Cruella-ish. All right. You know, like, hey, let's try and make the woman who skinned dogs into coats a hero here. You know,
that was very weird.
What are they gonna do? It's gonna show like Thanos's parents getting killed by like Thor's like Odin or someone. It's like, no wonder he snapped them away.
Oh, it's glorious. It's glorious. It would be amazing.
I mean, Josh Brolin deserves the work, that's for sure. But I don't know if I'd feel right watching that.
Very, very true. And then the losers. First loser of the week, Monoma, Mr. Kakashi Quirk. You fucked up.
I never really thought about that.
But you fucked up. You could have been the winner and you messed up. So I'll take Monoma, give him that fat L.
He takes it to heart, trust me.
Just like Mr. Pikachu, Denki, whatever his name is. Also Denki, big fat L. Also big fat L. Bakugo, another big fat L. Crosshair, big fat L in the face. In the face.
Oh God, old man corner again.
I love it. In the face.
The movie came out like 2013. Nah, yes, it was like 2011.
I love it. The other L, video gamers. Because video gamers, just gamers in general, because Pokemon is still not getting good trailers. We don't no, yes, but like from E3 we expected something from Pokemon. It turns out they were just releasing fucking League of Legends Pokemon style, and I'm like, bro, Get your head on the ball. Like,
and more people are added to Smash, and it's like, I don't care.
I do not give a fuck.
I'm still gonna use Ganondorf. Just give me the Pokemon game.
Ganon is toxic.
Yeah, I know.
Ganon is very toxic.
It's like a truck, though.
And speaking of toxicity, before we get to Mr. Mizu's winners and losers of the week, we have what I'm calling the controversial corner of the week weekly, because we have two big controversies that we have to talk about.
I can't be canceled.
No. One, hate being thrusted upon our good Anthony Mackie, Mr. Captain America, for no goddamn reason.
Wait, what?
So, Mr. Anthony Mackie, right? He was asked during a yes.
Okay, you're going into it. I was going to ask what's going on.
Yes, and
Treat me
Mr.
like
Mizu
I'm the audience.
and Mr. Mizu can go over these controversies because one of them involves Batman, which he doesn't like as well. So this is perfect. So the first one being Captain America, our man, our dude, our captain, my captain, was thrusted into a little bit of Twitter controversy because he was asked in an interview if Captain America and Bucky Barnes are in a relationship, and he just said no. He just said no. Like there's a bromance.
Yeah.
And then the Twitter sphere began to say that he was just being an anti-ally, that phobic of the H kind, and it makes it make no sense. It make no sense. So I wanted to get your opinion.
Like an overcorrection.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mizu? You look like you were going to say something.
Honestly, I'm actually indifferent about it because of what I've learned more about it. Because, well, it's actually what specifically he said. It was not that.
He wasn't like
ill. Said, in the MCU, like all fandoms and all culture, there are people who ship. There are people who ship all kinds of people together. Whatever.
Kakashi and Guy are old gays. You can't tell me otherwise. So, you can't fucking tell me otherwise.
With that being said, some people shipped Sam and Bucky together. And in an interview, the interviewer brought this up, and Anthony Mackie spoke about it on Twitter, and how he worded it was kind of bad. Like, I get what he was trying to say, but how he worded it was kind of
problematic.
Like I can see why people can interpret it that way. So, because he basically, he didn't just say no, he said that it's bad nowadays that you can't just have a platonic relationship between just with two guys. And he out of nowhere, he kind of brought up masculinity.
That's where the issue comes in. Because I agree with the first part.
And he said that some people kind of do exploit homosexuality.
Mm-hmm.
So, and here's the thing, and I definitely agree with that first part that there are some people who do sadly fetishize homosexual relationships, and half the time those people who do that are people who are straight, and it's very weird. But at the same time, there are people who genuinely just do it out of representation, because a lot of people feel like in a lot of their mediums there are no representation. Like for example, I get this, we get this flack all the time, how some Black fans will say a character is Black even though they're not Black.
They're
they're not Black. What are you doing? That's very
Raven from Teen Titans. People are like, Raven's a Black woman. Yeah.
So yeah, but we do that because we are not represented in that medium, so we find a way to put ourselves in there somehow to relate. So that's what some people who are homosexual do with the MCU, because right now there isn't really no prominent gay character in the MCU so far. Which in part, is another thing that's interesting with that is a part of the blame also has to do with the interviewer, because the interviewer kind of forced him into that conversation.
Very
good
questions.
The questions beforehand, he kind of forced him into this conversation when he knowing exactly what the interviewer know exactly what he or she was doing.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, what's more damning though is that Sebastian Stan was asked this very same question, and Sebastian Stan said something totally different. Sebastian Stan was just, so he said that he was like, hey, I completely understand it, and if people want to interpret the characters that way, that is perfectly fine. I'm just happy people can relate somehow. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
fair.
look well compared to what he said. And it doesn't, and what's even
That's
more
funny. It's
damning,
like in 2K.
what's even more damning is that someone brought up an interview with Mark Hamill. For those who don't know, Mark Hamill is the Luke Skywalker and the voice
The
of Joker.
Joker skull
They
face.
brought up
Skeletor.
Yep.
Yeah.
They brought up an interview where he was brought up the same question, where was just like, he said that he met a fan of Star Wars who always had an issue coming out, and he was always scared, and he looked to Luke as his like inspiration, and he asked him like, could Luke be gay? And Mark Hamill said that if that's how you interpret the character, that's all up to you. He said it's all the perspective of
reality is perception.
So if you interpret Luke Skywalker as gay, then that's you. Of course he's gay to you. So so yeah, so people were comparing and contrasting their responses. With us. So people were comparing and contrasting Sebastian Stan's response and Mark Hamill's response to what Anthony Mackie was saying. And this has been speculated as well, but I don't know if this is true or not. Some people are also pointing out the fact that I guess Chris Evans said something similar to Anthony Mackie, but people are getting on Anthony Mackie instead of Chris Evans.
I could see people saying the same thing about Anthony Mackie and, Captain America. Captain America and Captain America.
I do not know if this is true. I got to look it up if Chris Evans actually did bring this up, but people are using it as in like, oh, Chris Evans said it and no one had a problem with it, but now when Anthony Mackie says that there's a problem. Yeah. But I don't know if Chris Evans said this was true, but that's the whole ordeal. So my personal opinion overall is that I get where he was coming from, but at the same time, I think three things he could have done. One, either he could have just not talked about it, stirred away from the conversation.
Just fucking
deflect. These are not the questions that are going to get answered.
Sure. Yup. Super gay.
But yeah, like,
just get out of there.
Be like with Sebastian Stan and them, just use the term, like just kind of like put up in color and just continue on and like, hey, like it's whatever. That's what people want. That's what people want.
It's like in BioShock or in 2K where you got to choose the option that everybody loves. It's like everybody loved that, but it's like the most like non-controversial of all the options. You're like, if that's the way you want it, and it's like everybody loved that.
And the third reason is if he truly wanted to stand by what he believes and what he says, he could have just worded it better, or maybe got someone to word what he said. Because again, like just reading it alone, it does come off like, oh, I get what you were trying to say, bro, but yeah, there was a different way you could have said that.
I'm definitely, now that I've looked up the tweet and I read it, and I definitely agree with what you're saying. Is I think the base of what he's trying to say is, I think it's important that in 2021 men can seem as though they're emotional and close to each other. Like, I think what he was trying to say is essentially like, like let's normalize men having emotions, and that's a great message, because men shouldn't be closed off. They should be able to talk to their friends about their emotions, but at the same time, getting upset that like people might misconstrue that as homosexuality is like almost homophobic in like a very roundabout way. But I think at the end of what he was trying to say was essentially like, listen, like I want to be able to be perceived as with my friends, like open and honest and like together. And I agree. I'm very open and honest in like, I mean, I have my fucking fingernails painted right now. Like my masculinity spectrum is far from like, like super,
the norm,
the man's man. But like, I definitely understand from the base of what he was saying. But at the same time, yeah, like, you're a professional. You know how to skirt these questions. You got to choose the one everyone likes. But at the same time, men do have emotions, and like, I guess like you do want to be just like be able to like, hey, me and my buddies just hanging out. But at the same time, yeah, definitely word it a bit better.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate those comments. And speaking of masculinity, the last story that I have before Mizu takes us home, Mr. Batman in the news.
Oh, Lord. Knows where every nerve ending on the body is.
Yes, sir. So for those of you that don't know, Mr. Batman is slated to know where every nerve ending of the human body is, right?
Male body.
In the true facts. In the Harley Quinn animated show, the producers were trying to have a scene where Batman is reciprocating the support to her friend Catwoman, which we have seen before.
Cunnilingus.
Yes, because do not get it twisted. Batman is about that action. Batman is about that action. Yes, he's about that action. And so I have a quote right here. So the producers of the show, especially Miss Halpern, said,
which, by the way, is an incredible show. Fucking watch it. You will cry laughing.
It is dope.
It is really fucking good.
That funny.
Yeah.
It is dope. She said it's incredibly gratifying to feel and free to use characters that are considered villains because you have so much more leeway. And then they said a perfect example is in this third season of Harley Quinn, where we had a moment where Batman goes down on Catwoman. And DC was like, you can't do that. You absolutely can't do that because heroes don't do that. And she said, are you saying that heroes are selfish lovers? And they were like, no, it's that we can't sell consumer toys for heroes. It's hard to sell a toy if Batman is going down on someone. And I am pulling the BS button.
There's a whole scene where he gets chained up by Catgirl or by Catwoman.
And
he fucks Batgirl.
No, and not even that. Everybody says like, oh, Marvel's the goody two shoes of the two. Peter Parker strings up Mary Jane for some amazing Spidey BDSM.
Yeah.
Do you know how many children Wolverine has? Wolverine is the Zeus of Marvel. So I'm calling BS. I want to know your opinions. Does Batman get down with the kid?
Heroes fuck. I don't like what like heroes fuck. Like, how do you think like super? Well, actually, I guess technically Superboy was made by like combining Luke or not, what was it, Lex Luthor and Superman's. But like, yeah, heroes fuck. Like in one of what is probably the most controversial moves ever done in The Killing Joke, right? I believe Batman, or it's either Killing Joke or Death in the Family. Batman fucks Batgirl, who is significantly younger than him. Batman gets strung up by Catgirl all the time. I mean, that's a large part of the Dark Knight Returns series, was that he ends up with Catgirl or Catwoman. Like these heroes fuck. Like Deadpool's always trying to smash Lady Death. I mean, obviously Deadpool is different from Batman, but like, yeah, like I'm sorry, like if you thought these characters were all celibate, like, I don't know, go read like Christian comics. What do you want from us? Like, he's Batman. He kicks the shit out of people in the middle of the night. You think he's worried about like eating some box?
No, look.
Bizu, take us home. Tell us.
This proves to me that it's so sad that DC, the people who make comics, who've been doing this for decades, don't know their own characters.
Yeah, it's
and
weird,
it's like,
right?
Heroes don't do that. Like, what? So okay, so you're telling me heroes don't do that, but you purposely make characters who are like womanizers or purposely who are very sensual and all that stuff, and you're telling me that they don't do that? And secondly, why are you so worried about toys? I don't remember stuff like this stopping toy production.
No,
because think about it. If that was the case, what was the point of making Deadpool?
Yeah.
What was the point of making Deadpool rated R? What was the point of even greenlighting Deadpool if it was just based off of toys?
Mm-hmm. Like, it's not the 70s. Like, movies and shows are your dollar generators now. Like, it's not, no mom's going to be in the store being like, oh, honey, I heard you love Batman. Too bad he eats box, and just like puts him back on the shelf. Like, no.
Exactly. And then of course, like Strad Goofy made a good video talking about characters that for sure, like, please, they're a woman. Like Green Arrow for sure. When he said Green Arrow, I was like 100%.
Swap.
Green Arrow and Canary, one of the best relationships in DC Comics.
T'Challa.
Batman goes down. He literally has the goatee for it. This man does his job.
Flavor saver. I'm so sorry. I'm so fucking sorry.
I was gonna make a really bad joke about Storm and T'Challa, but you can go. You can.
I want to say Green Arrow.
T'Challa, Storm and T'Challa.
Storm.
I would pay to watch that.
Like everybody, like the characters, like it's just like the logic in this doesn't make any sense. Like you still think that. To me, y'all are still interpreting that the characters are still the campy 1930s, 40s characters that they used to be.
Hello,
no, it's
my
not
lady.
like that anymore.
We'll have sex twice in our life, and both will result in babies. Like, what do you think's going on? Like, the morals.
The issue here, I think, is people being out of touch, right? And
Yeah.
people not realizing that this is a medium that can please many different people. If you want your child to watch something super PG, then give them the old Batman the Animated Series, which even that has some like mature content. Like, give their stuff for everybody. Let people enjoy what they want. Like, that's exactly what has been done for decades. Why was the Watchmen created? One of the best selling graphic novels, including superheroes. Super graphic. Like, it's blasphemous to me to see like studios and production companies still under that mindset that, like, if we toe the line, it won't sell. The DC, do you realize that Marvel, your main competitor, touched on the topic of race, social injustice, the identity, post-traumatic stress, trauma, and it had one of the most successful TV superhero shows back to back ever.
Yeah.
Just like back to back, and you're still worried about selling toys?
It's so hard being a DC apologist in 2021. It's really not. It's not. I'm going to say it's the worst thing about my personality. I think it's
to go off of what Nick said earlier, like the whole movie, The Killing Joke, there's a whole scene where Batman is literally screwing Batgirl, and that didn't stop toy production. Y'all greenlit that.
It's literally Barbara Gordon.
And by the way, for those who don't know, that scene never actually happened in the comic book, but for some reason they put that in the movie, and the whole relationship makes no sense.
No sense, because she's supposed to end up with Nightwing as Oracle, and it makes no sense. Why did it happen?
I'm just gonna say that I'm gonna side officially. I am wholeheartedly 100% with Nick. We gotta restore the Snyderverse. Because that tweet was just Zack Snyder has his finger on the pulse. That man had a commissioned photo of Batman getting down, and I just want to know what that Fiverr conversation was like. I just want to know what it was like, because it was great. It was greatly animated, like drawn. It was amazing.
No, and here's the thing, and here's another thing that's so crazy. So y'all greenlit Harley Quinn in general, and y'all haven't seen all the things y'all have done, the things that were said in Harley Quinn. But this is the we can't do that. And mind you, I bet you if they actually greenlit the scene, this is what it would have happened if they did it. I bet you it would have been one of those scenes where they're interrupted and we just see Batman's head under the like the cover, and it moves up, like, oh, giving you the idea of what he was doing. I bet that was the only thing he was gonna do. Like
all of Harley Quinn is supposed to be like a joke about the DC universe. It's Harley Quinn is one of the most unhinged people within the entire universe's perception of the madness going around her. So obviously hey, Batman is having sex is not the craziest thing going on around there. Like fucking Poison Ivy gets speared. Also in the last movie of the DC animated universe, Apocalypse War, we find out that King Shark has been with from the mystic guy from DC Dark,
Dr. Fate,
Constantine.
Constantine. If we find out that Constantine's ex is King Shark, who is
Loki,
exactly, and so we have people fucking sharks in the DC universe. That's canon in the animated universe. What are you worried about? Yeah,
I don't know, man.
All right, Mizu, let's get your winners and losers. We've spoken our piece. Great winners and losers this week, Jose.
All right, so my winners are both related on Black Panther 2 and the Black Panther TV show. So we kind of got a little bit more insight on what they're going to be doing in Black Panther 2. And it's looking more and more that it's going to be kind of a war going on between Wakanda versus Atlantis. And now they're basically kind of confirming that Atlantis exists. Namor is going to be
thing.
Huh?
It's kind of a DC thing, Atlantis.
It's actually both. It's funny enough. There's a whole history with that in itself. But Atlantis exists both in Marvel and in DC, and they both have their own. They have Aquaman and Marvel as Namor.
Okay.
And the interesting thing about that is Namor is actually debuted as a bad guy compared to Aquaman. And with that being said, Namor and Wakanda have a feud, both in the comics, and they're going to play out that feud in the movie. And it's more like specifically with the families, the ruling family of Atlantis versus the ruling family of Wakanda. And I guess they're going to touch on the subject about Black Panther being gone, T'Challa being gone, and I guess Atlantis sees this as possibly a power vacuum to take up their eternal rival. And of course, Wakanda is still trying to grasp the fact of right now who could be the next Black Panther. So to me, it's giving me some Game of Thrones kind of vibes, like who's going to be the next Black Panther? Of course, we got Shuri. Some people speculate M'Baku. I think M'Baku will be interesting because, like, even though he's an ally with the rest of Wakanda, he still has his beliefs. He's a traditionalist. He doesn't agree with the technological advancements of Wakanda. So it'll still be interesting to give his viewpoint on that. We got Okoye. And another thing is, mind you, you don't have to be a person of royal blood to become Black Panther, because during the trial, we saw different leaders in different tribes of different prominent people. So we might get new characters from those tribes to show up and might be entering into this Black Panther pool for the throne.
You know what's aggravating about hearing that is that's literally the Flashpoint paradox. And that is something I've wanted from DC for years. It's Atlantis versus the Themyscira, which is where Wonder Woman comes from. So replace the Themyscira with Wakanda, and you literally have the Flashpoint paradox, which is one of the best storylines in the DC universe. And Zack Snyder was going to do it, but that sounds incredible. I just am very sad I have to see it on Marvel instead of DC.
But then again, this is still kind of ish rumor.
Okay.
Kind of with the plot a little bit, but like they're confirming more and more that, they're going with Namor. They're going with Atlantis. They're going to confirm that Atlantis is like a set thing.
Yeah.
Because it has been speculated before in the MCU a little bit. Of course, with the show, they're kind of tying in with the show as well. So we might learn more about Wakanda through the show, which I'm hoping for, because I think that's one of the things that, for me personally, as a big Black Panther fan and Wakanda fan, is that we didn't get to see enough of Wakanda. And there's a lot of interesting things in Wakanda that, luckily, it's getting its own show that it can be an interesting. Hopefully, they work on this it could be a long series. It could be a longer series, not what they're doing right now with the 6 episode.
Yeah.
It could be a long one if they do it correctly.
That'd be sick. You can't do a war in 6 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, my loser happens to be the person that we were already talking about in our controversial topic, was Anthony Mackie. And getting caught up with this whole ordeal.
Getting caught in the crosshairs.
I wish it was done differently. I wish it didn't happen, period. But, I mean... And it sucks, but like my man just became Captain America, and it's like you gotta.
James Gunn tweeted way worse shit.
And mind you, sideways, like on side note, no one is like. I've been seeing a lot of people say this, like no one is canceling Anthony Mackie.
No
one is
likable.
The one thing this is a side note. This is just my opinion, but a lot of people who always say cancel culture is a thing, is the people who complain about it the most. But every time someone gets constructive criticism, people think it's cancel culture. Like, no one's canceling Anthony Mackie. No one's trying to get rid of him. No one's having a position like, get rid of him as Captain America.
Someone holding
but they are criticizing him. They are saying like, hey man, I think you should have worded that better. They're like, there's a time and a place or stuff like that. But like I said, fans wise, like calm down. My man is learning. At the same time, I don't know if you ever seen this Anthony Mackie. I mean, get somebody to help you out. Just word your things better.
Get a PR agency.
Because now you're not. I'm not gonna lie. Because now you're in Chris Evans' spot.
Yeah.
In a way, as in like, because you know how Chris Evans handles situations and topics, and in our everyday current culture. So I think you gotta kind of do that just a tad bit. Not so you gotta be completely like him, because you're your own person. But you gotta think about that kind of stuff.
Exactly. And I guess the biggest problem is you don't look like Chris Evans, so people are gonna give you less chances.
Yeah, you're gonna get more crap.
Exactly. You don't look like Chris Evans. So and it's such a funny dichotomy to what it is with the actual passing of Captain America. Like with the amount of sway that we give to someone who looks like Chris Evans versus what we give to someone who looks like Anthony Mackie. It's literally what the show is about. But yeah, no, definitely word it better. But at the end of the day, what the fuck are we talking about here? Like it wasn't like he was like, no, ew. Like a legalized gay marriage. Like at the end of the day, he was trying to say something.
His intention. He was not trying to be obic.
Exactly. But yeah, so cool. All right. Awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for checking in for another week of the Weep Weekly. We appreciate your patronage, guys. We are averaging 1,000 downloads on every single podcast we put out. We just hit 10,000 downloads, ladies and gentlemen. That's insanity. Boom, we are growing like crazy, closing on a 4K subscribers on the YouTube. You guys have been too kind to us, if we're being honest. But if you want to be a little bit kinder, we would appreciate a little 5-star review if you can, a little 4-star review if you really hate what you're listening to. But until we see you guys, I have been Nixie Combi on TikTok, NC Hammer 23 on YouTube and Twitch, and we have been joined by Jose, who's actually, I think, maybe got a little bit of news about a little platform switch here.
Sir. Okay. So it is not a full platform switch, but for those of you that have been in the Tropical Joe corner, it's been a mess for the past few months, but we are slowly getting back to normalcy. So you can find me at I'm Tropical Joe or The Tropical Joe, wherever you get your content, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you can. But speaking of news, ya boy is going to make a power move. I will be officially starting to stream again on Le Twitch. So
coming back to the purple.
Yes, sir. Me and Nick are going to be taking over the Twitch sphere together.
Running shit.
Yes, sir. Power moves, big boy moves, and we're hopefully gonna get Mizu on the train. The official first stream might take a little bit as I'm getting the art, the scenes, trying to give you guys some better visuals to enjoy while you're on your time with me. But thank you, Nick, because we are indeed making big power moves. And with that being said, Mr. Mizu, take us home.
What's going on, everyone? I'm Mizu Shug on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Not really making any power moves per se, but I am trying to upgrade my content a little bit, as in looking at making it more polished. I've been using this other app. I forgot the name of it at the moment, but it is a pretty cool app, and you guys might see it a little bit more. And I'm testing it out, and it's pretty cool. So I can't wait to show the rest of the content. I'm doing another little series now with the ideologies of
Moderate
a lot of prominent anime characters, both anime villains and things of that nature. More analysis for anime. Like, I'm gonna do a whole series about Deku and what's Deku's purpose? What are the themes surrounding Deku and other characters and things of that nature?
Incredible. All right, guys. Well, thank you once again for sticking with us, being here. This is, I think, probably our longest episode of all time. But hey, we like each other. We like ourselves. So, guys, if you made it here to the end, give yourself a little pat on the back because we love you. But, guys, until we see you next week, bye.